We're live.
Hey everybody, I'm Christine Danchuk and I'm here with Frank Correa. And today for Tech Live, Frank is going to be talking about the upgrades and the different special things we got going on here with our 57. I'm sure some of you have seen our 57 at car shows, online, and different advertising. So yeah, this is our Danchuk 57 that we use to take all over the place. So Frank, what do we got going on?
So we're going to show you today more into the inside of the car, which some people might not have ever seen. So here in the engine bay, we've got a Edelbrock 350 engine. Originally came to us as a fuel injection engine. Here recently we've switched out the injection system to a ProFlow 4 injection system, which is the newest. And we've got cross-flow radiator with AC condenser in the front and an oil cooler, or actually trans cooler. We've dressed it up with billet specialties, valve covers, and an air cleaner. And then we've painted everything to match. We've also recently switched out the hinges to some custom billet specialties hinges. And we've got the front runner system all blacked out in here now too. It's been switched over. If you guys have any questions about anything in here, most of the stuff in here is sold in our catalog. Now, the color is a Corvette red. It's not a stock red, so it's a little bit more redder than the original red that the 57s came in, that were a little bit more orangey red. On here we do have most of the outside stock, but on this one here we do have an older one-piece custom front bumper with no bullet guards. And unfortunately these are right now discontinued. We're not going to be able to get these for a while. But everything else is original stuff. Now you'll also notice that this is a Bel Air, but we have switched out everything to 210 emblems and pretty much got rid of all the gold and went to silver. So it's all 210 stuff. And then we have some of our new LED Dapper headlights installed just recently. That's brightened up the headlights quite a bit. Done our Legends wheels on here that we have in the catalog as well. They're available in the book. And then all the glass installed in this car is the smoke glass that's in our catalog. Kind of gives it that little bit of custom look instead of the green tint. We got anybody with any questions about the car yet?
Oh no, yeah, so what we're doing, you guys, even though Frank is going over this 57, if you have any questions, any tech questions that you would want him to answer, go ahead and type them on in, okay guys?
And it doesn't have to be about the car. You guys might have some questions about your own car. So we're going to move on to the interior. This is a custom interior done by TMI. It's got their bucket seats. This is most of this interior here. The door panels and the seats are done in the FXR version, and this is the low back, no headrest bucket seats available in our book. And then in the back we've got the FXR back seat with built-in console that's also available.
Are these pretty comfy?
Yes.
You guys, I have never sat in this car. How crazy is that?
The one good thing about this car,
oh my goodness, they're so cozy,
is these seats.
They close the door.
The seat brackets that come with the seats. Well, actually, they're purchased separately because they do make these seats for other cars. The seat brackets are made to accommodate tall people, so you can be as short as Christine,
yeah, I'm short,
or you can be as tall as me, or even taller than me. I'm only 6 feet. I know the guy who designed the bracketry was about 6'5". So he made sure that anybody can drive in these bucket seats.
So you mean they just go back? You can just push them
Yeah, so
forward?
the track slides further forward
okay.
and further back than most other bucket seats. The carpet kit is also from TMI. They've got different kinds of carpet. They've got plush carpet, loop carpet, and they even have a couple German weave carpets. And then the door panels, this is the typical shape. The door panels is made out of fiberglass. It actually gets rid of the top garnish molding up here to give it kind of more of the new car look. And it's completely covered in the FXR design. Then we've got a matching steering wheel that comes from them that you can get wrapped in the same material. And then if you pan over to the dashboard over here, the dashboard is actually a TMI cover. It's molded in fiberglass and covered in the materials. It's all made to match. And then it's going to be a little bit harder. And then we got their center console. Now, the center console does come for a stick shift, where they give you a boot in what they call a bucket, and that would you cut it out to where your shift is going to be, and then the bucket and the bucket fits into that hole with the boot. This car is automatic on the column, so we don't have a stick shift in here. And then they come with cup holders, which you don't have to order it for the cup holders. We'll give you the cup holders, and you can cut the holes where you want, or not at all. I've seen people put the radios in here. In here we have our AC vents coming through the console, so you can pretty much put whatever you want, because you can trim it and cut it. I've seen people put lighting on the sides, lighting up the floor. You can put your power window switches in here. I mean, there's still, even though it's not made for what you want, you can make it what you want, or just trim it and cutting out the holes and fitting everything in. It's also got in the armrest, it's got a little glove box in here. That comes in real handy. Especially once you put air conditioning in these cars, you don't have much of a glove box left. Your glove box is only going to be big enough for sunglasses and your registration. And you'll notice earlier that console in the back seat, it also had cup holders to it, which I'm sure that could be an option if you did not want them in there. Then you'll also notice in the back shelf, package shelf, there's a pair of like little, what they call pods sitting up there. That's an option.
What do you mean by pods, Frank? I didn't.
It's just a kind of a racer looking thing when.
This right here that stands up.
Yeah, this little pod actually doesn't stand up very high. Just kind of makes it almost look like there's a little headrest back there. But that's an option. You don't have to order them with them. And everything is going to be ordered individually, so you don't have to order everything exactly the way you see it. You don't have to get a console in the back seat. You can order them without.
Okay, Frank, we gotta talk a little louder because they can't hear us.
Okay. Problem with not being inside of a building.
Yeah. So for you guys that are just joining us right now, we're just going over the Danchuk 57. He's just telling us a little bit about the upgrades on it. And if you have any questions, you guys, we're here too. We're taking your tech questions today too.
Yeah. So one more thing is we've got there's also a custom headliner on this. Might be a little bit harder to pan in there, but the headliner is manufactured out of fiberglass and completely covered in the same materials as the interior. And the advantage of the fiberglass headliner is there's no more bows. There's no more cross seams, so you can put stripes, like this one has a stripe in it to match the rest of the interior. with only sewing going from front to back. Pretty neat. The only downfall is in the two-door sedans, you need to have one of the windows out of the car in order to stick it inside the inside of the car. The two-door hardtops, you're supposed to be able to maneuver it through the side windows with the windows out. Now,
Justin has a question. He asks, do you have to take the headliner out to replace the front windshield?
no. Usually the question is the opposite. Do you have to take the windshield out to put a new headliner in? Now, putting a headliner in, now also is the question regarding a stock headliner or like this headliner?
Okay, so Justin, let us know if it's a stock headliner you're talking about. Okay.
Now, usually on the stock headliners, if you're installing a new headliner, it's all up to the interior guy if they want the windshield out. I've had one put in my car years ago, and the interior guy did not care if the windshield was in or out because he actually glued it to the header. Now, yes, if you're going to try to staple it, it would be hard to get a staple gun up next to the glass and staple the headliner to the tack strip. So,
He says both.
both.
He wants to know about both.
Well, this headliner here being a one-piece fiberglass, like I was just mentioning, if it's a sedan, one of the two windows does have to be out. I believe they prefer the back window, I think, more than the front window to be out when installing it. But on a sport coupe, they're supposed to be able to put it into the side with the windows rolled down and maneuver it up into the roof. So the windows could be in while doing that. But on the stock headliners, like I said, it's just a preferable thing with the interior. Some interior guys prefer it out because they have more room to work with. Do you have any more other questions?
He wants to know too, I didn't see this one. Do the pods, when we were talking about the pods at the back, do they interfere with the rear speakers?
They will a little if you check. See if you can catch that through the glass. It looks like it is pre-punched for a speaker. It looks like it's covering up the speaker, maybe almost half of the speaker. So yeah, with a 6x9 speaker, I imagine it would cover it up a little bit. But there is smaller speakers I'm sure you can put in off to the side of the pod. And then again, the pods are kind of just an accessory, I guess you would say. You don't have to order them. And then we've got probably most of the other stuff to talk about on this car is it has a Morrison chassis underneath it, which has coilover suspension, front and rear, 4-link Traeger's rear suspension in it. It's got the 4-wheel disc brakes. Everything's probably Wheelwood disc brakes on this car. And then we've also got the brakes power assisted with a hydro stop system. You can see here with a Wheelwood master cylinder. And by the way, you know, hydro stop systems are usually used when the engine does not produce enough vacuum, but you can still use them with or without a lot of vacuum. They actually work better than a vacuum booster, in my opinion. They stop a lot nicer, feels more like a newer car. Is there any more questions, you guys?
Yes, we have one from Ed. It says, how difficult would it be to convert a 3 on the tree to an automatic on the column?
All depends on if you were looking to do a late model transmission or if you want to do a original power glide. If you're going to do an original power glide, the steering column does have a couple different things on it. For instance, automatics had a shift detent at the bottom of the column. that would be somewhat important so you can lock it in the park. And that kind of goes for even a turbo transmission. It would be nice to have a park lock to lock it in the park.
He says that's on all original 57.
What's that?
Oh, remember you had asked him if it was for the automatic? The converter? Oh, the late model piece. He wants to know about the late model.
Yeah, if you're going to do a late model turbo trans, it would, in order to take that 3 on the tree column, it would be kind of hard to use because the outer mass jacket and the inner shift tube and the shift arms are a little different. I've seen people convert them, but you don't have a detent to lock it in the park. So you would want to either find yourself an original Power Glide automatic shift column, or go with a late model shift column like a I Did It or a Flaming River. They have a late model neutral safety switch on them already for that turbo trans. With that original column, you'll need to go with a later model style neutral safety switch as well, which we carry the 035 switch that'll work on the column. But I tell you, when you go to the late model column, and I Did It or a Flaming River, it's a huge difference in how nicely they're done. The canceling cam is updated, the turn signal switch is updated, and you'll also have the ability to put four-way flashers on the car with that column as well. Hope that answered your question.
Okay. It looks like it might be freezing up. I'm not sure, you guys, if it's just my phone or if we're having technical difficulties out here because we're a little bit further away from the router. But we'll keep on going. So go ahead, you guys. If you have any other questions, type them on in.
All right, so again, this car has a full custom suspension in it with the Morrison chassis, also available through us as a special order. Not much stuff on this that's stock still. I mean, we got a little bit, but you'll see down the side of the car, pretty much all of the trim is original. We have, again, we've switched out a few things. Now these panel inserts, you'll notice don't say Bel Air on them. This is another option in our catalog, is to get these without the emblems and scripts on it, in case you want to put it on a 210 or a 150 and not see the Bel Air emblems. And then you'll notice on the back, we've got the Chevrolet scripts and the V scripts in chrome for the 210. And then you'll notice one other custom thing. We've got a station wagon bumper on this.
I just noticed that. I've never noticed this before.
Yeah, so this is a station wagon bumper. They fit the same as they did on the wagon to the passenger car. It gives you that ability to take the license plate off the deck lid and stick it down on the bumper. That was the whole point of it. And I mean, I've seen people even go as far as taking the bumper guards off as well, and just having the license plate on the bumper for a more custom look. If you guys have any more questions about that, go ahead and type it in.
He's got, okay, so Greg has a question. Bear with me, you guys. It's kind of bright out here. It's hard to see. Hold on a second. Okay. Hello, he says, okay, I have a 57 four-door sedan. The back doors don't open from the inside. The shop manual kind of tells how to make it so that they can open from the inside. Can you show me, oh, he wants to know, can you show me on an upcoming tech tip? Can we talk about it right now, though?
We can talk about it a little bit.
Maybe next week we can actually show you.
Yeah, I may have to bring an actual latch in for the video, or there is, like you said, they're in a couple of the assembly manuals. They show you, actually in the shop manual, I believe it is, shows you how to do it. That was the early way of child-proofing the inside of the car so kids couldn't open the door. So it was a matter of taking one of the mounting screws out of the door jamb and sticking a piece of wire in there with a hook on it, almost like a clothes hanger piece of wire, and there was a little lever in there that you flipped to the other side, and that made it freewheel from the inside, but you can still open it from the outside. So it shouldn't be too difficult to do it while the latch is in the car, and obviously much easier if you had the door panel off. You should be able to almost reach in through the access panel and flip it over by hand. But it is going through an access panel, so it might be hard to see what you're doing inside the door. But yeah, I do remember it shows you in the shop manual how to do that. If you can't figure it out, yeah, we could try to have a latch here to show which piece or which screw hole that it's going to deactivate that.
Okay. All right, I'm going to have Austin take a look around the car again. And if you guys tell us what you like about this 57, what you think is cool about it, and then also if there's anything you think we should upgrade or change. I always like to know what people think and what they're doing to their cars, or what you think we should do or add. Frank, what do you like? What do you think is so different, or what do you like about our 57?
Well, I've liked what they've done with the engine compartment. The engine compartment used to be completely different. I liked them going with the matching red on the engine and the valve covers. Kind of updated it to look more like one of today's hot rods. And did a little bit of other custom stuff in here.
And what size engine is this? I'm sure you told us in the video.
Well, it's a 350 block. I don't recall the horsepower on the Edelbrock injection motor, but this new fuel injection has made this engine come alive a little bit more. It's a much better injection system than what the engine originally came with. It's been working out a lot better.
All right, so Chris has a question. He says, I have a 57 four-door 210 with shorty headers, which I haven't put in yet. Can I use a CPP 500 power steering box on it?
Most likely, the header does have to be made for the car. So there's a lot of what they call block hugger headers out there on the market. And there's actually two different styles of block hugger headers. So you have the two center tubes, most of the time come out to the outside of the header, with the two side ones that are in the shape of a V being on the inside. Well, that most of the time, those two tubes in the center will hit the steering box.
So yeah, because he wanted to know if it would clear a 350 small block.
Yeah, well, the 500 box definitely has the room for a small block. This one here does not have the 500 box in it. We would probably have to show you our display car inside the building. This one has rack and pinion. But those block huggers, if you're speaking of the short block huggers, I know there's a version, a generic version of just for any hot rod, where those two center tubes are actually bent sharper to the inside closer to the block, and then the two outside tubes that are in the shape of a V are going to allow clearance in between for the steering box. So the steering box kind of gets nestled in between the V and not hit those two center tubes. So I know one of our employees here bought a 55 Chevy. It was basically just had a 350 in it, and the guy threw in a pair of those block huggers, and those block huggers did not fit. The tubes stuck out too far. Whereas I've seen other 50s, 5 through 7s, where they've used the other style of block hugger. And you'll notice that we have 3/4 length headers in our catalog that are in that basic same shape as the shorty little block huggers, but it's a 3/4 length. It's in between the block hugger and in between a full length header. And you'll notice that the top end is almost the same similar shape. you would see the Doug's headers. It's called the 4-tube design. And then we've got the Patriot headers in the same shape. And those both should clear the 500 box, let alone the stock box as well.
Great. Thank you, Frank. I hope that answers your question. So if you have any other questions, just type them on in, okay? And you guys, we only have a few more minutes, so send us in your questions. All right.
Or if you have any more questions about the 57 Chevy, anything on it that you're curious about. Why don't we go ahead and also pan, when you get done, pan up under the hood. You'll notice one of our other aftermarket accessories. This is an Eddie Motorsports baffle brace. It's not much of a baffle anymore, but it's a brace for the hood. This one's done in the custom black powder coat that you can special order, as well as those hood hinges are black powder coat as well. Right now it's just bracing the hood so it doesn't twist from corner to corner. It's supporting it.
I see. Okay.
As the original, it did two purposes. It braced the hood and it acted as a baffle. So when the air came through the grill, the air wouldn't go over the radiator. It would concentrate it more into the radiator. This car has electric fans on it, so it's not needing to make sure that air gets concentrated as much.
So if you guys live in Southern California, the summer's coming, and there's going to be some shows coming up. And I think there's a show, is it in Lake Elsinore?
Yes.
In the next couple of weeks coming up? Or is it next weekend?
Actually, next weekend. Yeah.
So we'll be there. Are we taking the 57?
I believe so. I believe the 57 is going to be there. And out for show, I'm sure you can, I'm not sure if they'll have a hood popped open to see the engine compartment or not. Hopefully they will. And you can see the TMI interior too, closer up if you show up to the show.
Okay, we got some more questions coming in. Let's see here. Steve wants to know, do you sell a single hood bar extension for 56?
Not in the catalog, but you can ask for it. It'll be basically half the price of a pair. Since we're the manufacturer, that's not a problem. We just get it before it gets packaged, or we'll just unpack one and send you a single. But yeah, you just need to let your CSR know and tell us what size you need.
Okay, Daniel has a question here. He says, I have an original 4-door sedan and I bought your lap belts to install in the rear. The mounting points are flat and not bent as shown in the manual. Would it be okay to bend them, or could I put them higher? Sorry guys, put them higher up so they will sit flush. Do you have any seatbelt install videos?
I don't believe we have a video, but when I did my 4-door wagon, I did mount the seatbelt steel on the inner fenders, as the 57 accessory manual shows, and then on the center, I believe I did it on the part of the floor pan that actually slants up towards the trunk, or if it's a wagon, up towards the cargo floor. They mounted it right up on that maybe like 45-degree angle wall. That worked good. And then just remember that you don't want to put, if you were to put 3 belts, don't share the same bolt for 2 belts. You want to try to spread them out so the sheet metal is more stronger that way. And then you usually end up putting one on each side of the dry shaft tile. So, if you had any more questions,
Oh yeah, Clint has one more question. Well, Clint has a question. For the 57, he wants to know, he's just assuming, he wants to know that we have a vintage air for the long water tongue. Is that correct?
We would actually order that for you. The ones we hold on the shelf are for a stock small block with a short water pump.
Okay.
And then just remember, when you're running that long water pump, you're not going to be able to put the radiator in the V8 position. You're going to want to put that out in the 6-cylinder position out front like this crossflow is. And so we would special order you the whole kit to accommodate your car. And as long as you stick with the basics, the cost of the kit would still be about the same as the catalog price. But we would get it all ordered up for you to accommodate the car, so you're not having to modify anything.
Great. All right, Clint, I hope that answered your question. And we are out of time now. So thanks, Frank. And thanks you guys for watching. And let us know too for next week, or I'm sorry, the week after. If there's anything you want to see or you want us to talk about to help you out with your cars. Okay, guys?
All right. See you next time.